Hola. ¿Cómo están? Good evening. First of all, thank you very much, Alejandra, for your very kind introduction and more importantly for all that you do to give a great voice to the community. Thank you also to Dr. Carrasco for your commitment to empowering our next generation, for your scholarship, and for setting a great example. And I want to also, let's give a big round of applause to all the outstanding performers who I know did a great job. When I walked in, the mariachi music was going strong. I think they were doing Volver, Volver. I also want to recognize and thank the distinguished members of the Harvard faculty, I know many of whom are here. Let's give them a round of applause for everything they've done to help you get to this point. And to Norma and Oscar and the entire Harvard Latino Student Alliance, congratulations on a great event that you put together. Of course, I want to acknowledge and congratulate all of the graduates who are here with us today. We have graduates from the college. Where are y'all at? From the medical and dental schools, the extension school, the business school. They're the ones with the nice campus. The School of Public Health, the School of Education. See, our future educators know how to get things amped up. The Kennedy School. And of course, my alma mater, the law school. Congratulations, felicidades to all of the graduates. You know, it reminds me of a joke I like to tell. My brother Joaquin and I have a twin brother, Joaquin, and 16 years ago, Joaquin and I graduated from the law school. Joaquin visited the Kennedy School recently, and he likes to go around telling people that the way to tell us apart is that I'm a minute uglier than he is. But in 2000, we graduated from law school, and then we went back home to San Antonio, and we took the bar exam, and on October 31st, Halloween night of 2000, we found out that we had passed the bar exam. And the next day, I went to lunch to go celebrate with Erica, that I was dating at the time and is now my wife, and we went to go celebrate. I'll tell her you said hi. We went to go celebrate that I had passed the bar and I was going to be a lawyer, and I got there a little bit early at about 11:55, and I walked up and there was a young woman that was behind a podium like this, and she was taking, you know, reservations, and I said, oh, I'm a little bit early, there are going to be two of us, and then I stepped to the side, and you know, you might think that people in politics are all loud, like extroverts, but that's not true. You know, I'm fairly quiet. And but that day I was feeling so excited, so happy, because I had just passed the bar, that I blurted out to the young woman, I just passed the bar. And she said, oh, you're going to be a bartender? So to all the future bartenders in the room, congratulations to you, too. And finally, I want to join Norma and Oscar and Alejandra and Dr. Carrasco in congratulating all of the parents and the grandparents and the tias and the tios and all of the friends and neighbors who are here tonight. Let's give them a round of applause. So I know that there are a lot of things that y'all are going to miss about Cambridge, like meeting inspiring leaders and peers at events like the Latino Business Conference or this year's inaugural Latino Law Conference, making early morning food runs to Felipe's or Noakes after a night out with friends, cheering on Harvard as they beat up on Yale every single year that you're here. I think it's been like, what, nine straight wins for Harvard? And of course, falling once or twice on your way to class in the snow. If you haven't had that experience, you haven't truly lived the Harvard experience. But in all seriousness, all of us know that this week isn't just about reflecting on the past. It's also about celebrating the amazing things that are yet to come for you. And it's such an honor to join you at the second annual Harvard Latina Latino graduation ceremony. I too wish that this existed when Joaquin and I graduated 16 years ago. Erica Carlson created this ceremony last year to build a stronger sense. Thank you, Erica. To build a stronger sense of community and of family across the university. And as we all know, life at Harvard can be a little bit difficult and a bit of a transition for first-generation students and for all students of color. Last year, a record 13.3% of undergrads admitted to the class of 2019 were of Latino descent. And this year, for the class of 2020, that number was 12.7%. And when I look around this room, I see folks who are going to change the world. Innovators, entrepreneurs, activists, folks who are poised to make a real difference in our nation and in our world. Young people like tonight's undergraduate speaker, Dianis Beth Acqui, who will become leaders in business. Folks like our graduate speaker, Cesar Cruz, who will lead community change at the grassroots level, one neighborhood at a time. And people like Norma and Oscar, who are going to help save lives and shape policies at the federal, state, and local levels. Many of you, I know, have overcome incredible odds just to arrive at this point. For inspiration, we can look at Norma's story. 16 years ago, she and her mom, Carmen, crossed the border in search of a better life. But they knew that they could never rest easy. As a young child, Norma knew that deportation could end her time in America at any point. She has said that, quote, "I would tell myself, you need to get an A on this exam because this may be the last one that you take. I walked with this fear, but this fear also gave me the strength to push ahead." This week, Norma's graduating with a degree from the Kennedy School of Government here at Harvard. Carmen is undocumented, so she couldn't take a flight from Houston, where she lives. But that didn't stop Norma. In fact, she drove 4,000 miles round trip between here and Houston just to make sure that her mom could make it to this celebration. Congratulations. Let me confess that looking out into the room, y'all make me feel old. I'm starting to get the gray hair that I didn't have 16 years ago. But part of the benefit of that is perhaps one or two kernels of wisdom that I might share with you as you begin a new journey in your own life. My brother Joaquin and I grew up on the west side of San Antonio with my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother had come from Mexico when she was 6 or 7 years old with her sister, who was a couple years younger, because their parents had passed away. She came through Eagle Pass, Texas, and on to San Antonio in 1922 to live with extended family. My grandmother never finished elementary school because the family that she settled with took her out. And because she never got a formal education, she ended up working her entire life as a maid, a cook, and a babysitter. She raised my mother as a single parent, and my mother raised my brother and me as a single parent after the age of 8. My mother became the first in her family to graduate from high school and then go on to college. And I can remember going to 6th grade orientation in the fall of 1986. I know that some of y'all may not have been born back then. We went to the public schools of San Antonio in the San Antonio Independent School District, and our neighborhood school was called Rhodes Middle School. Joaquin and I had gone for 1 year to a Catholic school in the 5th grade, and even though we were devout Catholics, we hated it. We begged our mom to go be able to be with our friends at the neighborhood school. And that August of 1986, we showed up with our mother to orientation in an auditorium so that the school administrators could go over what to expect in this big new world of middle school. At some point in the orientation, one of the administrators got up and said, almost in the way that you say in a movie, that we should look around the room because the chances were that by the time we were supposed to leave the 8th grade, that maybe up to half of us wouldn't be there. To a 12-year-old kid, that didn't mean much to me at the time. But later that day, my mother pulled us out of Rhodes Middle School and took us to a different public school a couple miles away. She told us later that she would never leave her sons anywhere where they didn't believe that they could even finish the 8th grade. And the lesson that I learned from that was one that y'all have learned very well, and one that I hope you continue to hold in your heart, which is how important it is to always surround yourself with people who believe in you and people who love you. People who oftentimes can see greater things for you than sometimes you can even see for yourself. I bet when it was time to apply to college or apply to law school or medical school or business school or what have you, that some of y'all had doubts about whether you should do it. You didn't know if you could get in. You didn't know if you could afford it if you did get in. You didn't know if you could deal with the culture shock of going far away to a new place. You had self-doubt. All of us have those doubts at one point or another when we're trying to reach for a next level in life. At those times, just like at this time today, the best thing that we can do is to surround ourselves with people who can lift us up. Oftentimes, that's our parents or grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, or other family. And sometimes it's teachers or family friends or others. Find those people in your life. Make sure that they continue to help steer you to new successes. And also, be that person for other people. No matter what you choose to do, find a way to help others be blessed with the same opportunity that you've enjoyed. You know, these days I have the great honor of working at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. And we call it the Department of Opportunity because we believe that housing is a powerful platform to spark greater opportunity in people's lives. I started in the summer of 2014, and in that time I've had the chance to visit more than 80 communities in more than 30 states. I've had some interesting experiences along the way. I've seen a lot of challenges out there, from urban barrios to Native American communities. I'll never forget visiting the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. It was the first time that I had really spent time on a Native American reservation. And I learned that the unemployment rate was more than 70%. And then a few months ago, I visited the site of a new affordable housing complex that was being built in San Diego. The community there will house homeless veterans. And what amazed me about my visit was that the developer of this project was a man who himself had served, a veteran, and also who had once been homeless. I asked him what inspired him to make sure that other people had an opportunity to have a roof over their head. And he told me that he wanted to make sure to give them that same chance that he had. In other words, he didn't forget where he'd come from. And he found a way to give back. Find your own way in your profession, as a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, as an architect or a business person, through volunteer work, with the boundless energy I know you have. Make the most use of it, especially before you have kids, for those of y'all that haven't. Through charity, ensuring that other people can do good work that provides opportunity. There's no question that over the generations in our nation, the Latino community has contributed tremendously to our forward progress. There's no question that we've come a long way. If we were to have gathered the same ceremony 50 years ago, we probably could have fit in 1/5 of the room. Today, the Latino high school graduation rate is higher than it's ever been. More Latinos are going to college. Latinas are the fastest growing segment of small business owners in the United States. Over the last 3 decades, the number of Latino elected officials and Latina elected officials has more than doubled. There are senators and governors, and even a Supreme Court Justice, Sonia Sotomayor. You know, I often think about my grandmother and generations before her. She grew up in a time when some storefronts in Texas read, "No dogs or Mexicans allowed." I think about all the amazing novels that might have been written, the cures for disease that might have been found, the Fortune 500 companies that might have been found dead if her generation and generations before would have been allowed to reach their full potential. You stand on the shoulders of so many who made beds and made sacrifices, who picked crops and picketed the powerful, who fought in wars and fought injustice. And you, standing here today, is what they sacrificed for, what they dreamt of, what they could only dream of for themselves. Of course, we know that we can't change the past, but we can write our future. The beautiful thing is that you have the brains and the talent and the ability, and in 2016, the opportunity to write those amazing novels, to find those cures, and start those companies. In the years to come, in all of the places that life will take you, may you always be blessed with the love and support that you feel today. May your efforts to make this world a better place for generations to come make a difference. May you always do what is right and what will help ensure that if we come back in another 50 years, that this room will be 5 times as big. Congratulations. Felicidades. Good luck.